aimed at parents and carers of students who are in the first year of a level 3 programme or A-level programme, so year 12. So just to introduce myself, my name's Jo Bishop and I'm the careers manager, and tonight you're going to meet all of the careers team. So you're going to meet Ben Orsese, who's one of our careers advisors, Janet Willoughby, who's one of our careers advisors, and then we've got Jan Beaton, who's behind the scenes operating all the slides. So what we're going to do tonight is go through all the key options really that most of our students go on to. So we're going to start with Ben, who's going to talk to you about higher education, and then we're going to follow that with Janet, who's going to have a slot about the apprenticeship option. And then I'm going to end the event just to highlight a few key events and resources that we'd like our parents and carers to be aware of. There's plenty of opportunity for Q&A. There is a Q&A function in this Microsoft Teams. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but there's a little box with a question mark in, and you're more than welcome to put your questions in there, and we will address them either as we go along if we think it's appropriate, or we'll definitely get round to them at the end. And we will download all the questions, so if you would prefer an answer sent to you directly, please do leave your email address and contact details. We will put we can send copies of our slides out after the event, and again, if you'd like that, do leave a copy of your email address at the end. So the time is now just gone 6. We hope to finish definitely by 7:30, but it may be before that. So we do hope this evening's useful. So I'm going to pass over to my colleague Ben.
Okay, is this all live? Can everyone see it? Okay.
We're just going to put your slides live, Ben.
I think they are live now.
Not quite.
Are these not live? I thought I just shared them now.
Just bear with us, Ben.
I thought I was sharing my screen. No?
One moment, Ben. Sorry, give me a moment.
Okay, Ben, you can go ahead now.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, can you see the slides, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is, as Jo said, I'm Ben Orsese. I'm one of the Careers and Higher Education advisors based at the Angel campus. Just a quick overview of myself. I've worked as a careers advisor for nearly 19, 20 years, and I've been working at Cities until now Angel campus. This is my 11th academic year. So I'm going to talk you through our sort of process, our perspective on researching and applying to university. We should be finished just before 6:30. So what I plan to cover today, I'm going to talk to you a bit about our trends and destinations patterns of our year 13 students. This will be mostly for the Angel campus, where we have for A-levels and sort of BTEC courses predominantly in science. I'm going to talk to you about sort of deadlines for you to be aware of, our application process, and some information around the UCAS tariff, especially important looking around point tariffs on BTECs and A-levels. I'm going to talk to you about some of our partnerships we have for students, which could benefit your sons or daughters, possibly in kind of reduced offers. I'm going to touch on the area of studying abroad, and I'm going to talk about how our careers department can help and support your sons and daughters moving forward, and really hopefully leave you with some key messages and things that you should be doing as parents and carers of students who are hopefully considering this area of higher education. Okay, so I'm going to just start with a few kind of quiz questions first, but just to sort of say that the process of applying to university and researching it is a far bigger, I suppose, machine than what you would have had last academic year. I mean, I used to work as a careers advisor in schools for many years, so I know that big kind of decision you have in year 11 around thinking about staying on in the sixth form or moving on to somewhere new, or thinking about A-levels or thinking about BTECs. And that is a really, really big decision, but the option of looking at the higher education option might seem like a bit of a maze because there are so many options, and we'll have a couple of questions on that now, but we're all well versed and supported with students here across the campuses at City and Islington College. And with all this choice you have, really you should embrace it. So hopefully we'll kind of enable you to navigate a kind of positive experience of research in university. So as I said, we're going to go with some few sort of quiz questions first, and obviously you can put some answers in the chat if you want, but feel free just to answer yourself really, and this will give you a bit of an idea on patterns of our applications. So have a think to yourself, how many university courses are there to choose from in the UK? So I'll give you about 5 seconds on that. So these are within the UCAS website, and you'll see there are actually over 50,000. Okay, I'll show you some patterns of where our students tend to, in terms of courses that they tend to apply. But I mean, obviously there are not 50,000 A levels or 50,000 BTEC, so there are far much more choice. And again, that's a choice, as I mentioned, you should be embracing. What was the most popular university destination for BTEC Angel Campus students? So these students were majority kind of doing more sort of BTEC science options. So have a think. So a popular destination for the BTEC students studying BTEC sciences was Westminster. I certainly know of our A-level students in the sixth form, Westminster is always a popular destination, and certainly maybe with the exception of Reading, those four are always, the A, B, C and D are always in kind of patterns of students' university choices across campuses. What were the 2 most popular degree subject choices for our A-level Angel Campus students last year? Have a think. So year on year, in the years I've worked in the City and Sixth Form College, psychology and law are always our most popular sort of individual options and sort of combination options, but all of those choices there are popular options, which I'll show you later. But psychology and law always have high numbers every kind of UCAS cycle. What were the 2 most popular degree subject choices for BTEC Angel Campus students? Like I said, these are majority doing science-based BTECs. I think I have an E here, yeah. Have a think. Now again, these are all quite popular options. Engineering and biomedical sciences, I mean, there's a BTEC engineering course and a BTEC applied sciences, medical sciences offered there, so it's no surprise. But interestingly, the psychology option is popular as well, even though it's not offered as a BTEC. Okay. I think my last quiz question, what percentage of A-level campus students from last year progressed onto London-based universities? Have a think. The answer is D. I mean, historically, I've seen it around 50-50 for A-level students, but I mean, that's quite a common pattern of types of universities. Obviously, there are lots of reasons why someone might stay in London, but obviously personal reasons, but there are lots of obviously London-based universities, and we would include things like Hertfordshire and Greenwich, Kingston, those which are kind of greater London universities within that as well. Okay, so hopefully those answers and that have given you a bit of a sort of flavour of where our students are applying and what sort of courses they're applying within the Angel campus itself. So some sort of deadlines here for you. Sort of 3 deadlines we're working on at the moment. UCAS deadline 1 would only be for a small number of students. These would be students making an early application to either Oxford or Cambridge, or for medicine, veterinary medicine or dentistry. These applications actually have a national deadline of the 15th of October. So we have to have the application completed by the end of September. Now, there's a slight bit of flexibility in that date, but really we have to get the references. So students applying to those universities need to have their application submitted by that date. They don't need to have all of their 5 choices submitted by then. They can add others afterwards, but you know, 90% of the application really needs to be completed, especially with the personal statement. Okay, and I'll talk to you in a moment about the parts of the UCAS form. The second deadline day is the one that obviously we hope most of our students work towards. That's around the end of October, it's just before the half-term autumn break. I know within sort of Angel campus, for BTEC and A-level students, we're dealing with nearly 1,000 students. So there's a process of a form being completed and submitted to us and being sent. If we have a form completed by that date, we guarantee to send it off by late November, and that's still a very early application. Okay. And if students work towards that third deadline, which is kind of 2 or 3 weeks after half term, we guarantee to send it by the UCAS deadline, which is the national UCAS deadline, which is the 15th of January 2022. So the earlier the better, but it's not early and rushed. I mean, early and kind of well thought and a kind of refined application. This is where we can come in to help your sons and daughters with that. But those are key deadlines to keep there and be aware of. Okay, so the application process, okay, is a new sort of process with UCAS this year. Although it's still an online application, students can have to create their own UCAS hub account. They can actually do this now, and then from that they use that for various amounts of parts of their research, and it keeps everything there in a place for them. And then the centres will give individual buzzwords which links the applications to us. And the individual centres will manage the application and can support individual students with that. There's a maximum of 5 choices. I'll talk to you a bit about that in a moment. At the moment, the fee is an online £26. That does go up normally by £1 every year, but no news on that one yet. We highly recommend booking a careers meetings with people like myself and Sherwin and Janet across different campuses. Obviously, we would work directly with students from the campuses that we're based on, but we've all got lots of experience of the UCAS process. Students will meet with their tutor to finalise their applications. Some courses have interviews or admissions days or applicant days as they're called, and students make final decisions around their choices. It's always around May. At the moment it's June for this year's applicants, but normally around May, and I'll come on to that in a minute around firm and insurance. And then in the summer time after students have received their A-levels or BTEC results, there's a process, or extra starts in March of year 13, but clearing starts always around August. Okay. Parts that goes in the UCAS form. I mean, some of it is straightforward form filling out, a bit like the personal details and the qualifications. The choices is the part that needs a lot of research. I'll talk to you about that in a moment. The statement we'll come on to as well today, and there'll be references written by the tutor and kind of handled by the careers manager, and predicted grades which come from subject teachers on there. And the predicted grades, which we'll talk about in a minute, really do shape the flavour of a student's application in terms of where they're applying and what's realistic and what's tangible and what's kind of aspirational but being too aspirational. We'll come on to that in a moment. These are some of our partnerships we have. Some of these being long-lasting partnerships. Sussex has been a partner with the college for a number of years, and the scheme has been called different things for a number of years. Sussex Access Scheme I applied for in year 12. Some places like Essex and Leicester and Goldsmiths have kind of individual partnerships with City Islington, and we suggest students speak to centres and careers advisors around that. You'll see things like contextual offers used quite a lot. Bristol's a very interesting one. They give contextual offers to, I suppose, I think they call it underachieving sixth form colleges or students or colleges that are improving slightly. So they give lower offers to our students. And I've seen year on year more and more people picking Bristol for that reason. So many courses there could be up to A-star AA or AA, and a student could receive an ABB choice if they're an A-level student just because they're studying at City Islington College. So really with these, we suggest you again talk to careers advisors within campuses. And some places there like Leeds, Southampton, Surrey, they have kind of general national access schemes. So it's not specific to the college. So this could relate to sometimes on home income, or whether a student is first generation of their family to go to university. Again, look within the detail of individual university websites on that. So moving on, I'm going to talk to you about the UCAS tariff. Okay. Most students are not doing AS levels anymore. Those are the A-level grades and points kind of table there. some universities just still use grades. So of course, after 3Bs, it's 3Bs. Of course, after 3Cs, it's 3Cs. That's quite self-explanatory. But some use the tariff. So that means a student could apply with a kind of mixture of grades. Certainly for students' predictions, this is what A-level students are kind of, say if a student had a prediction of A, B, D or A, B, E, you're never going to find a course asking for those 3 letters. But it allows them to be flexible in terms of where they apply. And it allows the kind of universities to be flexible in terms of the offers they give. Okay, they go down in sequentials of 8. You can see there, and it's just you just need to just get your head around and just know that. And I'll show you in a minute on the next slide. I know for A-level students, the ones I've highlighted there in green are the kind of common ones I see. A course that asks above ABB generally doesn't use points. You might see the odd university saying 1 to 8 points, but kind of 3Bs downwards, which is 120 points downwards. Those ones in the green are the ones I see quite a lot. Popular London options, places like Westminster, Kingston, Middlesex, Hertfordshire, I think are in and around those kind of levels. So again, that's why we also see a lot of people applying there. Some university courses offer what are called foundation courses. It's not to get confused with the art foundation. Really, this is below 80 UCAS points, and this could be for a student who's, I don't know, maybe had a difficult time in year 12 and not working as hard as they could. Or maybe they've chosen the wrong A levels. So maybe you want to do an engineering degree, but you're not doing maths and physics. You could do actual foundation courses, but these are offered now across kind of humanities areas. I know that something like Sussex, for example, most of their courses are around kind of AAB, but they may well offer foundation courses across humanities courses and sciences across all levels, and it's around 3 Cs. So the foundation course gives them a kind of, it's almost like a year 0 to move on to year 1. Really, obviously, hopefully A-levels and BTEC students will be aiming high. It's a bit, I would say, aiming for the kind of UCAS points tariff above 96, really. That will give them more university options moving forward. Now, in BTECs, that's how the tariff table works. And so as a quick comparison, those 3 I've highlighted there would be kind of the kind of most common ones across there as well. But again, below 80 points would be around merit pass. But again, it's just something to get your head around and start to just sort of understand and apply really within your research as a family. Now I'm going to give you some examples of kind of flavours of applying. Okay. Now I said psychology is a popular option for A-level and BTEC students. Okay. Now this is a fictitious example. Okay. Now if there was a student which we meet in year 13 Angel Campus that maybe they were doing BTEC in biomedical, so BTEC in the applied science, and they want to do a psychology degree, they can still do that by not studying a psychology part. I mean, maybe parts of it within their BTEC, but if they had a prediction of DDM, that's equivalent of ABB at A-level, we stipulate in college that they have 1 choice below their predictions, and this is quite a safe option here, really, I would say. And you can pick, you have to pick up to 5 choices. We recommend students use all 5. And within the 5, you don't stay a preference at all at that point of applying. So as a student, as your son or daughter might still be thinking about staying in London or moving outside London, this example of sort of Brunel, Goldsmith and Hertfordshire all within the London area, and Aston in the Midlands and Sussex on the south coast means that the option of if they are going to stay at home or move out is a decision you'll make further on throughout the sort of process of after applying in year 13. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some examples of A-level students. I haven't worked with BTEC students on a UCAS kind of submission yet. I kind of will be next year in year 13, but these are 2 A-level students I worked with quite recently. And I just want to give you sort of flavour of what happened with them. Now, going to university isn't just about the A's and the A stars. I mean, yes, students we have from the 6th form going on to small numbers going on to places like Cambridge, Oxford, UCL. But you know, many students work towards B's and C's, and B's and C's are great results. Students have to work really, really hard to get those results. This is a student I know quite well. She got involved in a lot of our careers enrichment programs, did a lot of research around courses and really chose anything with a marketing flavour in the module content. And this was where she applied, and it was all quite sensible in terms of a 3 C's prediction. She had a choice below of 96, and in the end she received offers from all 5 of these, but when she came to pick her final 2 choices, she actually picked Hertfordshire 96 points as her firm choice. So just because it asks for the lower kind of point tariff doesn't mean it's the lesser university. So this student made an informed choice and that's where she's now studying, I think, having a sort of great time. Okay. But again, she wouldn't have stated a preference on Hertfordshire when she applied, so obviously she may be thinking that within her application, but you don't do that until much later, as I said, until sort of May, maybe even June, or year 13. And this is a very, very academic student we had at the college. This is an Oxbridge candidate. She was actually doing 4 A levels, had a 3 A stars and a 4A predicted there. Applying for biosciences, biomedical type courses, and was applying mainly, so split, I suppose, across London, Cambridge there in the north, and in the end, she had offers from everywhere, was rejected by Cambridge. I think, I'm not sure if she got to interview, but in the end, she moved on to Durham, which is a very academic university. It's a collegiate university. I think the ABB offer, there must have been a contextual offer as well. But yeah, you know, she was a student that, you know, was probably attending a talk like this with her family, I imagine in year 12, and, you know, really making really informed decisions and choices by the time she applied, and carrying on with that research throughout year 13, and then working hard to get the results in the summer. Okay. These are popular degree subject choices we see. I mean, it's quite predominantly across A-level students, but as I said, we have 35 different plus A-level students move on to lots of different courses. So we have students applying for all manner of different courses. It might be quite more subject specific across different campuses, but those have been popular areas in the sixth form for many years. But they're quite popular. They're quite sort of national trends as well that we see as well. Okay, healthcare could encompass lots of things. That's not just medicine. That could be dentistry, nursing. That could be lots of some of the allied health professions as well. Things like occupational therapy and things like that as well. So. Lots of students interested in lots of variety of things, lots of things that us as careers advisors have to keep on top of and kind of knowledgeable on, but that's part of our job. So in terms of where our students last year moved on to, we get a kind of report from UCAS and it tells us where our students have moved on to. And you can see, like with the BTEC site, Angel Campus, most students moved on to Westminster, so 42 were placed there. And you'll see that lots of popular options there in London. The ones I've highlighted there in red I've highlighted because those are partner universities. So we certainly over the last certainly 3 to 5 years, certainly of A-level students, seen quite a lot of students moving on to Essex, and that's no kind of surprise in terms of it being a kind of partner uni there as well. Similar here with the BTEC Science students, Angel Campus, many London-based universities there, but some interesting ones there. With Reading and stuff as well, I think as well. That's on there as well. Okay. Students often have to think they know what career they want to do before going on to universities. Often the kind of web you might get into think you need to justify what career you want to do. Do be aware that 80% of graduate jobs in the UK are not subject specific. So this is an example of a SOAS graduate that maybe completed an anthropology degree. If you go onto their website, you'll see that this is an example of the sort of pathways that you could go onto with that. Okay, so you'll find lots of information like this on websites, and you know it is important to look at career progression. But for me, the most important decision, and I'll come on to this on some top tips when we finish, is making sure your son or daughter really has an academic interest in the modules that they're going to be studying. There'll be a kind of embedded, I'm sure, careers department within most universities, which is their job to help students with their next research in terms of where they're going to go on to next, or whether it's further research or further study or kind of onto a graduate schemes. But lots of degrees have kind of platforms onto lots of different pathways. So don't think, especially for someone who's thinking about a course like anthropology or history or English or something like that, especially academic courses like that, are highly valued, and a real strong kind of graduate progression pathways built in to them. Say this all the time, students really think about the value of a sandwich year. This is when you have a 4-year course with a year built in maybe to study abroad, or a year built in to have on placement, especially around sort of vocational courses, engineering, paramedic science, things like this will have placement years built in. But you know, you're the consumer, that your son or daughter's borrowing a lot of money to go to university. Ask whether universities have kind of links with universities globally. Ask them if they've got links with local employers. This will improve your son or daughter's university experience and help their graduate employability. Now, hopefully with sort of restrictions changing, especially for your sons or daughters who wouldn't be going on to university until 2022, there is the option of studying abroad. Sometimes we use a study abroad talk within this parents' evening, but we have a well-bedded relationship with an organisation there called A-Star Future, which you'll see as a link there. Really go onto that site and have a look. I mean, there's the process of applying to studying abroad is outside of the UCAS process. You apply directly to individual higher education institutions and countries. It can be cheaper in terms of the amount of cost of a kind of individual year at university, but there's probably not funding from the government or the British government in terms of the tuition fees. So we have students talking about this quite a lot. America is the big one that always comes up, and often they have to sit their own American kind of ACT or exams that they study there. So have a look into that. I mean, I would certainly say for students thinking about studying abroad, great, they could apply for that outside of UCAS, but look at 4-year sandwich courses that are offered within UCAS and stuff as well. They'll probably have to do well within their course here in the UK to qualify for that, but certainly look into that. But it does involve lots of research. I mean, we have a handful of students talking about it every year, but we only see a few coming over the line in terms of making that application. But it's certainly something to think about, certainly something to consider. You know, there is no such as best universities in the UK. There are some brilliant global universities, and lots of things across parts of mainland Europe taught in English as well. So that can be the attraction in lots of ways. So obviously, I don't want to spend the whole talk talking about COVID, but you know, universities have to change in terms of the platform of what they can offer to students. Normally, Easter time coming up is a real good time for open days for universities, and obviously restrictions are easing. We would hope, really, I suppose, maybe for your sons and daughters, maybe come September, the start of year 13, and maybe a bit more possibilities to visit universities. Universities have really had to adapt very quickly, as everyone. I mean, they've got lots of interesting options there in terms of virtual fairs and online webinars. I mean, one thing to this, there's no restrictions in terms of numbers that can apply. Taster sessions have always existed, but again, the online options give students, you as families, to really go deeper into attending a kind of online lecture, and that would really give a good insight. But even if restrictions haven't changed that much over the next 3 to 6 months, I would still say go and visit universities in terms of the actual city. I've been saying to a lot of our current year 13 students who really had their UCAS research inhibited by everything at the moment. You can get on a train to visit somewhere, even if it's not within the university. Just going to a new environment will really give you a good insight. I don't have an example, just to give you a quick example, not a plug, but I've been down to Portsmouth University a few times for sort of teachers and careers events, and even by not going into the university, it's a split sort of campus across the city, you can really get a feel for what university life would be like there by even not going into a kind of young uni. So there's lots you can do off your own back in terms of research, but take advantage of the virtual opportunities currently being offered. I think all universities are kind of great at that at the moment. So the last couple of slides to finish before we get to finish 6:30. So my top tips, things to think about. The top one there is the one I find myself saying numerous times, all the time, with students. Whether I'm doing a face-to-face interview with a student now or kind of an online interview, you know, really look at module course content. That really is my top tip, really. You're looking at a psychology course or a history course or biomedical science course, it will vary from place to place, and the individual module course content will vary. There's more likely to be compulsory modules they have to do in the first year, but this will vary and there may be different options moving forward. So this is the real, you know, when I see a student saying to me in year 13, I'm picking Leeds University for this course and I've looked at the module course content, I've been to university, that's kind of music to my ears, really. Okay. Visit universities if possible. Like I said, you know, hopefully there'll be some changes with social distancing, but you know, you'd think you'd be able to visit places on trains and get in a car, and that really, you know, making a good decision about university is a lot of online research in the first instance, but if you're going to move away from home, you've got to make a real good assessment of the environment. Okay, book a careers appointment with the careers advisors working at the individual campuses. As I said, we've all got lots of experience of advice. We're not going to tell your sons or daughters what to do. We're going to help them make informed decisions. I mean, don't be afraid to ask questions and raise concerns. You know, and support your sons or daughters, listen to their ideas. If they're thinking about a real different course, you know, be open-minded about it, look into it. Year 12 is not a warm-up year. As I said, to put it to grade, really give they really dictate the flavour of the application, where that student applies and where it's realistic. And be careful around unconditional offers is when university would say they're in if they pick them irrespective of their BTEC or A-level results. In this instance, I'd say book an appointment with us in careers. We've got lots of really exciting things happening. I know Joe's going to talk to you about this in the final segment today. We've got our Career Pathway Day taking place in late April after the Easter break. We've got our annual Summer Careers Fair. There'll be lots of employers and lots of universities, and a real great resource which I'm starting to get my head around, which is fantastic for students in terms of for students and families in terms of their research, called UniFrog. That's going to really change the map in terms of how students undertake their research. Okay. The last thing to say is to support and encourage. Think about, you know, online events or visiting places. The one in green now highlighted, students often miss this. I mean, research bursary opportunities. This is one of the parents and carers you might have to do within your own research. There's often pots of gold available there for students, depending on certain backgrounds, and universities often are giving money away. And this could shape a sort of student's final firm choice. As I said, listen to your sons or daughters, be open-minded, support them. And, you know, Janet's going to talk to you next about the apprenticeship option. And just be aware that applying to university doesn't commit a student to go to university. We have hundreds of people applying within the Angel campus, and many students change their mind or could be applying for apprenticeships and degree apprenticeships and stuff as well. So just submitting a UCAS application doesn't commit them to going to university. They have to reconfirm this in August. So do give lots of thought to the other options. You know, having a gap year, you could apply to university with a deferred entry. So for 2023, if your sons or daughters, or even apply. I think I say at the bottom there, you can apply as an ex-student through the college. I'm sure Janet's going to talk to you in a moment about, you know, degree apprenticeships and college school leaver apprenticeships. Loads of interesting options. You know, success to your son or daughter that isn't just going to university. That's one, I suppose, well-known kind of post-18 option, but certainly we're seeing so many students on Open Angel campus really determined, quite academic students who are really considering these alternatives, and these aren't kind of alternatives in kind of not as good as higher education. There are some fantastic, well-paid, you know, degree apprenticeships and college leaver apprenticeships, and we have students coming back and doing talks and really talk about how glad they are that they didn't go to uni and made this kind of decision to go straight into the world of work and possibly work towards a degree or kind of other qualifications as well. So Janet will talk to you now about these and really give these some serious consideration as well, I would say. So these slides will be made available to you, and those are our sort of contact details for us within Angel campus. And that's it, and I will be around here to take questions after 7 as well with the rest of the team. So I think we're just on 25 to there, is that okay? All right.
Thanks, Ben. So yeah, do put your questions in the chat and we'll make sure we come back to those at the end. So we're just going to hand over to Janet now, who's going to run through the apprenticeship option.
Okay. Can everyone see that? Hello?
Just getting your slides up.
Okay,
Janet.
I'll wait for my prompt.
Sorry, Janet.
That's all right.
Go, Janet, your slides are up.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, thanks, Ben. That was really comprehensive. My name's Janet Willoughby, another one of the careers advisors at Angel Campus. As the title suggests, I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of apprenticeships, enabling you to support your young person. Okay, so first of all, welcome once again. Let's just get cracking on. So really short and sweet, really we're going to be looking at this and support and initiatives offered by the college careers team, and we're going to be thinking about ways in which you can support your young person to access an apprenticeship. So that's pretty much the order of the day. Okay, so as we know, as it says very clearly in this slide, it's about working, earning a salary and training all at the same time. So I think we're all very clear about what an apprenticeship is. Okay, so very quickly, I'm just going to whiz through the levels. So obviously it starts with a traineeship, there's an intermediate, advanced, higher, and all the way up to degree level apprenticeship. And each level equates to a particular qualification. So for example, an advanced is equivalent to A levels or BTEC nationals. A degree apprenticeships are like equivalent to a degree. So that's pretty much how it works. Okay, so degree apprenticeships, just give you a quick synopsis. So obviously it's a real job in a skilled occupation. You actually have a job, you're employed. You get a contract of employment just like everybody else. You receive a salary. Obviously the big attraction to degree apprenticeships is the fact that you don't pay any tuition fees. So obviously instead of paying out over £9,000 a year, you're actually getting paid a salary and you get to complete a degree at the same time. They can last on average between 4 to 6 years. Obviously, you have a substantial level of training, level 4+ qualifications, and you're working towards apprenticeship and industry standards. And obviously, you get that all important transference of skills, which is what every young person wants and needs. Okay, quickly, the myths about apprenticeships, which have been floating around for years. So here are some of them. So for example, things like apprentices never earn that much money. They're for people that don't do very well at school. They're only for school leavers, and they actually miss out on that whole social kind of uni aspect because they're going to be entering the world of work. Okay, so let's just quickly go through some of those myths and facts. So regarding the whole social aspect, employers are really working tirelessly to ensure that young people actually have a kind of a cohesive workforce and that they do get to kind of participate in social activities and that there are various perks and incentives. I will be touching on a few more of those incentives and an example in later slides, like for example, season ticket loan and gym memberships. Okay, apprenticeships are for people that don't do well at school. Well, obviously, the degree apprenticeship requires 3 A levels or a BTEC level 3 with distinction. So that's pretty high. So it's not for people that don't do well. It's actually very, very competitive alongside your maths and English GCSE, at least grade 4. Only for school leavers. Well, the degree apprenticeship is aimed for pretty much from between 17 to 18+ age group. And as the government clearly set out, apprenticeships are for all ages. So it's not just for young people that have just left school. Okay, apprentices will never earn very much money. Well, we can clearly see that obviously those between 16 to 19 on minimum wage, the minimum level as of April of this year will be £4.30, but some employers will pay more. And obviously there is also, for example, the London living wage, so some employers do take that into consideration as well. And some employers will actually pay between £16,000 to £24,000 a year plus. So that's quite lucrative actually. Okay, so here, as you can see here, this is an extract from UCAS where they're saying that every year 80,000 prospective students are telling them that they're considering a degree apprenticeship. So you can clearly see that degree apprenticeships are on the increase and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's definitely worth paying attention to apprenticeships / and degree apprenticeships as well for your first year, year 12 or first year BTEC students as well. So it's very worthwhile thinking about in this window of research and exploration. Okay, so we know obviously in light of this pandemic, we know that Rishi Sunak has been injecting quite a lot of cash and investment into young people. So as it says here, he's basically unveiled funding support and a pledge to actually support apprenticeships. So that's definitely something that he holds dear, as well as also the Kickstart scheme, which is the government initiative for 16 to 24-year-olds who are on universal credit. And that pretty much enables them to get 6 months paid employment. So these are some of the things that Rishi Sunak has been unveiling recently. Okay, so let's just get back to some of the pathways that we have on offer. This is just a synopsis. There's quite a few more, but I just thought I'd give you a little example of the actual pathways that are on offer. So it could be anything from creative arts to legal, to business, to transport, to creative design, to construction, or to ICT. So it is worth checking out some of the pathways because they are varying in choices. Okay, so as much as it's always important to look at apprenticeships, it's also important to also remember and really think about what employers are looking for, because they definitely go hand in hand. So obviously we know that, you know, apprenticeship employers are looking for people that are resilient, people that can work well under pressure, you know, can cope with multiple tasks, you know, and not be flappable in any kind of situation. That can demonstrate leadership skills, can kind of show initiative, have that commercial awareness, not only be interested in the actual apprenticeship, but have a clear understanding of the sector and be really keen and really receptive to exploring more about the industry. Having a real sense of self and situation, being self-aware, having emotional intelligence to understand context, how to behave, to have business appropriate communication. So all of these things, these are the things that employers want, and these are the magical things that apprenticeships offer young people. Obviously, computer and literacy and digital skills, time management and presentation skills. So these are all really, really important things to think about. Okay. It's also important to know that obviously for our students, it's important that they are job ready, but that practice does make perfect, and that we are all on a journey for self-development and improvement, no matter what age we are. So I think the key thing here is that we can practice and we can all learn, you know, how to be good at job interviews, how to fill out that perfect application form, how to present well at a job interview, how to get shortlisted. It's all practice, and it's an ongoing process that the Career Service are quite happy to support your young people with. Okay, just wanted to show you some recent figures here from the Institute of Student Employers here, and it just pretty much shows us a bit of a synopsis as to what sorts of tests that employers are using. So as you can see, this was surveyed over 159 organisations, and it's showing like quite high up. It's very much about the numerical reasoning, kind of testing their statistical kind of understanding of data, logical reasoning as well in terms of how you think and how you analyse and how you reflect and kind of how you critique something and evaluate it. Situational judgment tests are also very highly used as well, giving you scenario-based questions for you to think about how you would, you know, problem solve a particular situation. And as you can see, there are like strength-based assessments as well. So it just gives you an idea as the sorts of testing processes that they're using with young people. Okay, here's another slide here. Just very quickly wanted to shine a torch on the impact of COVID on such tests. So as you can see, psychometric tests have not been stopped by COVID. So they're pretty much still rigorously looking at testing candidates in that way. Where you will see the highest percentage, as we can all guess, really is the face-to-face assessment centre style screening processes. So that's at 87%. So you can see that that has been stopped dramatically by COVID, as well as face-to-face interviews. But everything else is pretty much business as usual. As you can see here again, you can see things like group presentations have been stopped by like 13%. So really, it's quite stating the obvious, but it's more of the kind of one-to-one personal contact has kind of been eliminated in the advent of COVID. But it's good to know that all the other mechanisms for screening are still very much in place. Okay, just wanted to shine a little light on some of the apprenticeships that are out there, but I will be giving you some links to explore, because I think it's important that your young person really gets the opportunity to sit down and explore with you, because there is a wealth of opportunities out there to really research and to really do a deep dive and work out what it is that you're interested in. So this is Ernst & Young, which is a huge leading financial organisation, and here's an example of some of their pathways. So they have software engineering 3-year programme, which leads to a Bachelor of Science degree in digital innovation, and the learning provider, which is the learning arm of the training, is delivered by ADA National College for Digital Skills. So obviously for that particular student, they would be 4 days in the world of work and 1 day within ADA College doing the learning. That's usually how it works. For the data analytics program, 4-year program, Bachelor of Science degree in digital technology solutions, and that one is being delivered by QA apprenticeships. That just gives you an idea as to how they do it. Yeah, and they want people that have 3 A levels or equivalent. That's their kind of entry requirement for these programs. Okay, wanted to draw your attention to this link, which is also on their website. They have a really, really comprehensive kind of user-friendly how to apply, and it kind of answers the who, what, where, why, and how kind of question marks that you have when it comes to applying for apprenticeships. And it also has a tab where you can sign up for their mailing list, which is something I would always recommend to people when they're looking at apprenticeship organisations, is to actually make sure you sign up. So it's a good time now in this cohort to actually sign up so that you're on their mailing list, so that any opportunities that do come about next year, you'll be the first to know about it. So that's why we do say that, you know, this year is very much meaningful, and this is very much a proactive time to research and explore and sign up for mailing lists so that you are the first to know. As you can see at the bottom here, it says applications can close as soon as numbers are filled. So what that pretty much is saying is first come, first served. So once they reach their quota, they can close it. So, which is why we always say the rule of thumb with apprenticeships, if you see something that you are interested in, especially in your final year, because that's when it all kickstarts, the same as UCAS. If you see something, please, by all means, speak to one of us in the careers team, but don't hesitate, just apply. Apply, apply, apply. Don't just sit on it, because once they reach their quota, that's it, it's closed, even though sometimes it may even be still advertised online. Okay, wanted to show you another slide here, just basically showing you just in terms of the different types of apprenticeships that were being delivered. And again, this was within a survey of 82 organisations. And I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that there are various different apprenticeships that are on offer, but I wanted to highlight the one in lime green, which is the Advanced Apprenticeship Level 3. And as you can see, 32% of these employers were actually employing advanced apprentices. So the only point I wanted to make here is that a degree apprenticeship is absolutely fabulous for all the reasons that I've mentioned, in terms of you don't pay any tuition fees, you get a salary, you get a degree, XYZ, etc., etc. But the advanced apprenticeship should not be ruled out. So I think with apprenticeships, it's more about the meaningful kind of experience that you gain from it, which I think is far more rich in depth. So by all means, look at degree apprenticeships, by all means apply for them, but don't rule out other levels, because sometimes that opportunity may be absolutely amazing, and that amazing opportunity should not be missed out on just because it's a lower level. I think I've made my point. So here's an example of what I'm trying to say. So Multiverse Apprenticeships, so they are a provider of kind of all things digital and IT kind of techie apprenticeships. Really good website. One of our former Candy students just recently got a digital marketing apprenticeship with Google via Multiverse Apprenticeships. So what I was saying earlier about the level 3. So here's an example, hot off the press, with Morgan Stanley, a leading global financial services organisation. And they've got a vacancy for a digital marketing apprentice, £26,000, and it's 9 till 5, Monday to Friday in Canary Wharf. And wait for it, it's a level 3 pathway, and it's 18 months. So really, I just wanted to shine a light on that sometimes don't just always look at the degree apprenticeship 4 to 5 years. Sometimes there may be an amazing opportunity for a young person to grab hold of for 18 months. Yeah, so please just bear that in mind. Okay, wanted to move on to some of our students that have successfully gone on to apprenticeships. So there's a student that I met who's currently just coming towards the end of his BTEC National Extended Diploma in Engineering, and he's just secured a civil engineering 5-year degree apprenticeship with the Waterman Group, and he's really chuffed. He was really chuffed to share that with me, and the pathway is accredited by London South Bank University. So I thought I'd just throw up the entry requirements for this. So it's like 3 A levels, grade A star to C or equivalent, including maths and science, or a BTEC National Diploma. So that they're the kind of things that they're looking for. Yeah, so he's really chuffed to be starting that when he finishes his time with us at the college. Okay, another former student we've got is Bianca. So she successfully secured an apprenticeship with Deloitte as a data analyst. The entry requirements, it was a Bright Start package. They call it the Bright Start apprenticeships. And the entry requirements they required was 104 UCAS points. Remember what Ben was telling you earlier about the UCAS tariff point system. So they wanted 104 points, which is roughly like BCC or equivalent, which also means BTEX, and at least a grade 4 in English language and at least a grade 5 in maths GCSE. Just quickly, do you remember what I talked earlier about the incentives? So here's a little whistle stop of some of the things they're offering Bianca. So there's things like £1,000 interest-free loan, 25 days holiday, a pension, life assurance. She's got a Bikes for Work scheme, travel insurance, critical illness, it goes on. So they really are attracting the best talent and they're giving you what you deserve really in this place of work. So I think that's absolutely fantastic for an apprentice to be getting all these incentives. Okay, application process. So it began in January all the way through till June, and there were various processes from scenario-based questioning via video link. She had a digital interview in the April. There was an assessment centre, but obviously bearing in mind what I've said in terms of COVID, so maybe now that would be virtual. In the summertime, there were 3 candidates. It was shortlisted. There was a group task in this group. And then she was finally got through to the final stage where she had a partner interview where she successfully secured the job. Okay, here's just a little screen grab of some of our amazing All-Stars apprentices. So we've got Jamil, who successfully secured kind of like financial investment banking apprenticeship with JP Morgan. We've got Francisco, who's with the Lloyds Banking Group, and he's got like an auditing apprenticeship. We've got Bianca, who I just mentioned just now, and we've got the amazing Aaron, who is currently with Bloomberg doing a digital technology solutions apprenticeship. Now, Aaron was in a very fortunate position. He was actually offered apprenticeships with IBM, Goldman Sachs and Dyson. So he had the pick of the crop really to choose from. But here are some of our amazing students that have gone on to apprenticeships. Okay, here's just a screen grab of the many employers that we work with in the careers team. And there are many more, but I couldn't fit them on the slide. Okay. So in terms of the apprenticeship support that we offer across the college group, we offer tailored programs for final year students, guidance interviews, visits to job fairs, albeit virtual, career speed networking events, employability sessions, and we kind of coach and support students through the process from application form to interview skills, telephone, video screening interviews, CV prep, psychometric testing, and group exercises. So really, we really try and give them that experience all in partnership with employers as well. Okay, so here's some hyperlinks to where to seek opportunities, which will be disseminated. Also Unifrog, which I'll mention in a second, Get Ahead News, which is our college careers e-magazine, which gets emailed to all students. Okay, so I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm going to leave that to Joanne Bishop to tell you a little bit more. But what I wanted to draw your attention to was that Unifrog, this amazing new portal, which has been opened up for all students, and it's going to be absolutely a transformation to the way in which we work with our young people. So there's an apprenticeship tab, as you can see in the middle in pink, and this particular tab allows students to literally job hunt and shortlist opportunities that they're interested in. And also it gives the opportunity for us as their support and the teachers to see, you know, in terms of what sorts of apprenticeships they're interested in, so we can further support them more with the application processes. So it's brilliant. Here's a screen grab that I looked at this morning. So they have live vacancies. So there's one, for example, for content marketing apprentice. It's an advanced apprenticeship with the details there and the phone number. So it gives you a really good synopsis in terms of this exciting opportunity. So, and you can pretty much bookmark it, save it, so that we can all see what that student is interested in applying for. So Unifrog is going to be an amazing resource for apprenticeships. Okay, so again, although it says Unifrog, it's very much more also for apprenticeship candidates as well. Okay. Also, just like to let you all know that we have a careers YouTube channel, which is absolutely flooded with information and content, varying from apprenticeships to how to podcast, to study skills, loads of employers giving experiences, loads of universities sharing experiences, and it's constantly being updated. So definitely check out the careers YouTube channel. It's worth a watch. Okay, like I said before, Get Ahead News, it's basically emailed to the students. And again, we cannot further emphasize the importance that they all look at it on a regular basis, because literally if you miss it, you miss out. It's absolutely fabulous. So please, 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 I urge, again, just please check out Get Ahead News. Okay, here's another e-leaflet which I would like to kind of, if we can email that to parents, that would be great. It's a really useful resource. It's got 42 top apprenticeship programs. It's a PDF. So I put that on there as a prompt because I think it'll be really useful for you to all have a copy, or maybe you could let us know if you need a copy and we can email it to you, whichever way works best. But it really does give a really good rundown of the top apprenticeships that are out there at the moment. Okay, so in synopsis, please check your emails, Get Ahead News, please keep an eye on that and look at the opportunities, attend workshops and opportunities, anything that we can offer you, please just be receptive, be in the know, be in the moment, still make UCAS application as a plan B. So please also apprenticeships and university, please have them both in both hands. Research into occupations and organisations. We're here to support you with that. Also, tailor your applications for apprenticeships. And like I said earlier, apply. Don't just apply for one and wait for that golden moment, that golden opportunity. You have to literally apply for quite a few before you get that opportunity. Seek assistance from the careers team. We are definitely here to help you and we're on hand. Okay, so that brings to the end my apprenticeship talk. Many thanks for your time. I'll take questions after.
Great, thanks, Janet. Yeah, I've been busy answering a couple of questions in the chat. Yeah, brilliant. So I'm just going to finish off now. So just bear with me while we just put some other slides up. Hopefully everyone can see that. Is that okay, Jan? Yes, I think I'm live. Okay, yeah, so just to finish off, really, I mean, all of these things were mentioned, I think, but we're a really busy department, always kind of looking to kind of improve and develop our service, and we've got some really exciting developments that have happened and that are going to happen over the next few months to help students. So the 21st of April, if you're an A-level parent, carer, it's actually a non-teaching day for students at the sixth form centre, and we've managed to kind of grab that day for careers activities. So we're really pleased that we've been able to basically have a whole day which we're going to dedicate, and we've called the Career Pathway Day. So I've been busy booking a huge number of talks with academics at universities, and there really will be something for everyone. So students are being told about this day. There's talks on all of our popular degree subject areas. So universities will talk about kind of what it's like to study that subject at university, and also typical careers that students will go into following their degree in that subject. So we hope that will be really useful, and we hope the students use that day to really kind of start shortlisting and getting some ideas about kind of what they want to do in the future. And if you're a parent of a Holloway student, or if you're from the Finsbury Park campus, you are absolutely more than welcome also to book onto talks, which is you just might find it catches with a lesson, but everything is recorded and it's saved on our YouTube channel, which I have put the link into the chat function of this call. So do have a look on that, and we'll save a playlist for all of these talks. There's so much stuff on there. The next really exciting event that's going to happen in the summer is our careers fair. Now, we would normally do this face to face, in person. We'd have a hall where we kind of invite universities and employers in. Now, that was been too tricky to arrange. I mean, actual fact, that date, you possibly could have large scale events, but we're also finding that universities and employers still don't want to come out to kind of schools and colleges quite yet. And in actual fact, I think this is probably a better scenario in terms of we've been able to get, I think the latest count is 47 different universities and employers have registered to attend. So they're still registering now, but there really are all of our popular universities, Russell Group universities, kind of special, we've got specialist kind of art places, specialist music places, specialist drama places. A couple of American universities have popped up. I didn't invite them, but they obviously want to come and meet Candy students. So this really will be good, and again, parents are more than welcome to attend. So it's not just clicking on links, you'll be able to live chat to representatives. You can actually link up by video if you wanted to, download information. So it really will be a great opportunity to kind of get information, and really timely as well, because then you've got the summer holidays obviously to really kind of think about where you want to, you know, what choices you want to put on that UCAS form, the all important UCAS form. As Ben mentioned right at the beginning, you can to apply to university, you must create this UCAS Hub account. So there's no getting around that, and you can start that now. And again, we can stick these links in the chat and share these slides so you've got those links. But if you just literally Google UCAS Hub, you can create the account there, and then when applications open, it will just say, do you want to start an application? And that is basically where you will go to start your application, to track your application. It's just one login, which is a massive improvement, because I'm sure, like everyone else, I have trouble remembering 1 million passwords for everything. Now we just have one login and password for the UCAS Hub, rather than having 3 different passwords for the various stages of the UCAS process. So that is a real plus. And the best thing is also, if passwords are forgotten, the students can reset their own passwords, and that is going to save us a huge amount of work and hopefully less stress for students when they forget login details. Right, so the Unifrog, which we've mentioned a few times again, so students have now all been uploaded onto Unifrog. It's taken a while because we've uploaded students from across the college, which is obviously quite a lot of students. So they will all be able to log on now, and will receive, they should have a welcome email. If they haven't for some reason, they can just let me know, but it might have gone into their junk. So we've also arranged for parents to have access to that. So do log in. When you log in, it's not linked to your student's account, but you can see it as a student would see it, and you can do exactly the same as what a student can do. So it's really, really useful. And, you know, like Janet said, I mean, I think when Unifrog started, it was very much focused on uni, but in some ways they perhaps should drop the uni bit of it now, because it really, whatever you choose to do, whatever you're choosing to do, there's a tool on the platform that will help you with that. So absolutely tons and tons of information. And just to say this, the code for parents is only, when it was set up, it was only valid for 30 days, and we're now on about 20 days. So if you do intend to sign up, do it as soon as possible, because otherwise I'll have to get another code. So this is just a kind of a screenshot of the key features really of Unifrog. So as well as, so you've got all the options to explore pathways, which is all the kind of careers libraries, subject libraries, so students can favourite things. There'll be sort of MOOCs are kind of the online courses that they can do. So if they're keen to kind of do something else to really strengthen a university application, a MOOC is a brilliant idea, and they're all free. There's some quizzes on there, so if you've got a student that really does not have a clue what they want to do, a quiz is always quite a good place to start, because it will make suggestions of things that they might want to complete or look into. The recording, what they've done is, again, a really useful tool, and really useful for us as a college in terms of writing references. So as soon as your student has done an activity, might be a university taster course, a work experience, an employer visit, they can record it on there. So when a tutor goes to write their reference, they can look up a student and look and see what they've done and kind of include that in the reference. So that, again, that's going to be really important for us and improve the quality of of how we can support students. So I think the tools that students will use the most are kind of the searching tools. So we've got the one that they're going to use the most is probably the UK universities and the apprenticeships. So they can favourite, they can create shortlists, and like Janet says, we can kind of, it's a bit like Big Brother, we can kind of see exactly what students are looking at, which means that we can also target information. So if we know a student perhaps wants to study psychology at university, and then we've got a university that wants to offer a taster course in psychology, we can target those students and let them know that that's an offer. Yeah, so all of you've got the college sixth form as well there. So sometimes students want to kind of look at a different level 3 program. Again, that's an option. The drafting application materials, so the dreaded personal statement. So this is something that students really stress over, but there's a tool here that will guide them through that and make the whole process a lot less stressful. CV, I mean, I've been sent a CV from a student. So a student logged on to Unifrog this morning and has already sent me a CV for a comment, which I've sent back, and she's now got that saved in her locker, which is the little pink button there. So it's been, it's fantastic to see that students are actually kind of engaging in this already and really active. Lots of students have already created shortlists. So if you haven't had a look at it, do have a look at it. And I'm sure you'll find it just as useful as students will. So this just basically kind of sums up what it said. So this is why we've kind of invested in this platform, really, to kind of make the whole process of choosing your next steps a lot easier. So students feel that they are actually guided through it. Students will still need one-to-one, and that's what we're here for. We're all experienced careers advisors that have helped hundreds and hundreds of students through this whole process. So this is a platform that will support that, but that's not to take away the value of kind of actually just sitting down with someone like like one of us and talking through your ideas. So that's also an option throughout. Which takes me on to the last slide here. We've really improved how students book appointments across all the campuses now. So students will have these links and they can book directly into kind of careers advisors' diaries. They can choose whether they have that virtually over a Microsoft Teams link like this, or whether they may choose they'd rather have the interview face-to-face, and they can state that in their application form. So that takes me to the end. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh. So that is a really quick whistle-stop tour of all the options open to your students, and there really is an awful lot out there. We'll just have a quick look at the chat and see if there's any questions out there. I can see there's 10. I mean, someone did ask earlier about student finance, which I replied to that person particularly, but it also might be interesting for other people. So in terms of student finance, you don't apply for that until the year that you're actually going. So for students intending to go in September 22, they wouldn't apply until around February 22, if anyone else is wondering about that. Some parents are asking also about predicted grades, which they are finalised in the summer term. This is for A-level students. There is usually an opportunity for them to be revised in early September. There will also be, which has been announced today, an opportunity for parents to meet subject teachers on the 5th of May. So that's another date for your diary. You will be emailed about that. So that's going to be very much subject teachers, and that's for year 12 A-level students. And I'm sure that the other campuses will do something similar. I don't know if anyone else has spotted any questions that they might want to answer. Oh, okay, we've got a question here, which again may be relevant to a few of you. So someone whose daughter wants to take an art foundation course, which is a very popular option for a lot of students. Art foundation courses are totally separate to the UCAS application. So, but what some students do is actually do a UCAS application and an art foundation application at the same time, because it's separate. And then if they'd apply for, usually if they're applying for university after an art foundation course, they would do their UCAS application through their art foundation institution, because that's, you know, a university is going to want to hear from the latest institution that students attended. But we do support students who, you know, have gap years and they just apply through us. Which leads me on someone else has said, can they access careers after you've left Candy? Absolutely. Yeah, we're here to support students when they've left us as well. Okay, I can't see any other questions. I mean, if you think of anything else and you afterwards, we do just add it. We will download all the questions anyway and send this out. If you would like a copy of the presentation, I would urge you just to put your email address in the chat. That would be really helpful. And we can share the PDF that Janet mentioned about the top apprenticeships. So I think that's it. So yeah, I hope that was useful. And yeah, the students should know where to find us. Come and find us in Careers, students, if you want any help or get in contact with us. And we shall, look forward to helping you decide on your next steps. Okay, thank you very much.